y'all. I'm Hope here at Crafty Hope, and welcome. It is day 76 of the 100-day project today. By the time you see this, it probably won't be. I have been working on hashtag not precious project. I expect I will continue this project on and off far after the 100-day project is over anyway, because it's basically me taking items from my stash that I have deemed for some reason or another to be too precious to use and actually use them. So that's kind of what my project is, and I'll have a link, I think, below to a blog post that'll take you to explain it a little bit more. But today I've gathered a bunch of not precious items that I need to use, and I pulled them out. I decided that today I've just finished a big assemblage, and today I kind of wanted to do something a little more restorative. So I'm going to work in a junk journal page, and I have pulled out from my gathered items. This is, y'all, this I got on clearance back when Hobby Lobby still had yellow stickers before they had the orange ones. So this is a Heidi swap. I don't even know roughly thing. I may use it. I've got some old paper. This is some letter from 1937, and this is a workman's time book, which I have a collection of these, and this is from 1925, so it's 99 years old ish. Yeah, it's from March, so yeah. Anyway, so I think I'm just gonna work in this. This is a little junk journal I made, I think probably for one of the Everything Art Advents, possibly this year. I can't remember. Anyway, this is what I'm going to work on. So let's get to it. I think you can tell by the tone of my voice that I really did need to get into my art journal and play a little bit. I was a bit exhausted after the 9 days of creating that assemblage with the yellow dress, just pushing myself to get it done, yeah. So I thought a junk journal page would be just the next thing. And y'all, once I finish, this is 3/4 of the way through the 100-day project. I only have 7 projects after this one for y'all to share. I think I may go look at them and be like, oh, well, this one's not worth sharing, but we'll see. So as you can see, I am starting in this journal with some collage. I grabbed that typed letter, and then this bit of the workman's time book. So it had some other kind of letter in it, some kind of little handwritten thing with some, you can see some splotchy ink on it and all kinds of goodness that I'm going in, just using a glue stick, working on these pages. I'm actually going to pull something from the workman's time book, so I'm not just pulling something that was randomly in there. And covering these 2 pages, you can see the one on the right is some kind of notebook page. I'm not even sure what's in this book, y'all. I told y'all I made that probably a year ago. From now, I know it's from one of the Everything Art, what I say, Advent that they do in December, the Advent journal things, Care December, that's what it is. Yeah, at least that's what it used to be called. Anyway, so I usually have too many pages in there, and I don't like to leave unused pages in journals. I guess. And I am using a lot of these papers that felt so very precious that, I mean, because what is anybody ever going to do with them? I think this kind of process is exactly a great way to take those little bits of history and incorporate them into something that's meaningful, at least to me. So, okay. Once I got them all done, you can see I brought in a little bit of white gesso and splotched it directly onto my journal. If you don't want that much gesso in your journal, put it off to the side before you bring the brayer in. But for me, I just wanted to get like a nice base, make those pages kind of cohesive. You can see that a lot of where the gesso went were along the edges of those papers, so that it all made like a single background instead of a messy background. And then I grabbed my Stabilo All Pencil in blue and scribbled, just did some scribbly whirly twirly. I think I held that pencil probably way up on it so I could get it looser, and then I used a wet paintbrush to activate it just in a few spots. I love that, like it being a straight line and then blurring into nothing. So here is that Heidi Swap. I think it's called Trimmings, and I'm not real sure how it's supposed to be used. I honestly should probably have gone to look it up, but then I'm taking somebody else's influence rather than my own. So what I did is I cut it down to the size, I don't know, about the size of one of the pages, and then put it off to the side and was like, I'll think about that in a little bit. And then I grabbed my little yogurt cup that has some dried up instant coffee in it, and I reactivated that with water. And I'm using a wet paintbrush to just paint around a couple areas of this page along with splatter that. Now that is a good mix of coffee. Look how dark that is. Sometimes I don't get it that dark. So it's always a little bit of a surprise for me also when I use the coffee. The coffee was pooling a bit in the center, which I don't want to do. So I used that whatever it is, the trimmings, to pick up a little bit of it, and then I'm going to go ahead and try the coffee. Now, both the Stabilo and the coffee are not permanent when it dries, so I'm going to be aware of that as I move on. So you can see as I'm drying this, I am picking up more of the excess. And once I got it dry, I came back with, this is some alcohol spray ink. I think I'll put a link in the upper right and also in the description box of how I make that spray ink, but it's pretty simple. So that was my black one. I also have this Tattered Angels spray. Y'all, I don't even know what color it is. It's from, I got it at Tuesday Morning back when that was around, but it's like this corally pink color, which I thought was kind of fun. So I took a little bit of time to dry that fabric, and then also sprayed that peachy pink color around on my pages along with some water just to get it to move, because it's so old that it's coming out in like an exact circle, and I didn't want that. So I just sprayed it so I could get it to be a little more organic. From there, I grabbed this is a graphite stick. I did dip it in water and then put it in some of the excess water that was I had sprayed on there, and then splattered bits of it. I'm going to use, again, that same paintbrush of water to pull out some of that graphite and give it just this, I love that bleedy, grungy yumminess. So, yeah. Kind of loving it. I hate that my splatters, you can see, are in straight lines. Do you see those like 3 straight lines? I need to get better about turning either my hand or the journals or something so I can get, if it's going to be those straight lines, they're in different directions and not all the same direction. So I've decided at this point to put that trimming, whatever it is, along the edge of my journal, just like that. And what did I do? Yeah, I took it to my sewing machine and just did a quick stitch down my sewing machine. I could have hand stitched this if I wanted or just glued it down, but I decided, that additional bit of texture you get from sewing something on would be great. So I grabbed also a vintage photo from my stash. It's this cute little family. It's a lady and a man and a baby, and they're all in like bathing suits. And I just thought, I don't know, I think something about the blue and the peach had a very beachy vibe to it, like a seashell on the beach. And so I thought, okay, they're kind of perfect. So I inked up the edges of that photo with some distress ink and walnut stain. Also took a bit of that handwritten whatever it is, letter or whatever, or note that was in that time book, inked it up, and then the little bit of that trimming that I clipped off I thought it would be a neat accent, kind of give purpose to, I don't know, continue that bit of fabric on there. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Oohoo to tack that on to the handwritten thing. And you can see I'm tacking. I wanted also that trimming to have a purpose there. So I thought tacking slipping the photo kind of underneath it made it felt like it was tucked into the page. And also there's a lot of open space on the right side of that picture, so it kind of took up some of that extra space there. So I did go and get a sentiment sticker. This is, I think, another something I got from Tuesday Morning that I don't even know what it is anymore. But because it's kind of like an off-white color with a peach writing on it, I thought it'd be perfect. And it says the perfect day. And I just thought, I don't know, a beach day is always the perfect day, isn't it? So I'm using my Oohoo to kind of stick everything back in there. I'll also add some Oohoo to the back of that sentiment before I stick it down in my journal. I think I've only got a few more things I'm going to do here. I'm trying to remember what they are. Ink up the outside edges of the journal itself. And I have to tell you, I don't remember what my mood was when I finished this journal, but I know that editing it just felt right. Like, I don't know, I felt energized by it. So that's just kind of what happens when I get in my art journal and out of my head. So I needed a bit more of that peachy pink in there, and I love this Americana craft paint in coral blush. So I've got a super thin flat brush there that I am just picking up some of that paint from the cap even, and making marks around on this page. I really kind of wish that I had made these marks before I put my focal in, because I could have had some of them coming out from behind it. But you can see over there on that bottom right, I did stick a few of them near it. So something, right? Something. I've got art journal regret, maybe. It's okay. If I really needed to get in there, I could have pulled it up. So I wet that paintbrush down a little bit with some of the paint and did just a tiny bit of splatter, but I think I'm trying to remember, no, I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and then I'm going to come back in at first with this white China marker and try to make some marks, but it really wasn't doing much for me. I don't think you'll even see that in the close-up shots, but what I do grab is a Uniball Signo white gel pen, and I'm going to go around randomly some of those coral blush marks that I made, and it's just a little accent around some of it. It wasn't working great because I've got so much media on there, but it's fine. It's a neat little accent that when I looked at this, I really liked that portion of it. And that's going to finish up this art journal spread or junk journal spread. For this, I encourage you to, those bits that you're saving in your stash that, you've collected for your art journal, for your art that you haven't been using, use them, because you're going to end up with something you love. That is what I've learned from this Not Precious project, is when I use the things that I love, I make things that I love even more. So go for it. If you have any questions, please ask away. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.